Imagine for a moment that you could sit face to face with the richest and most powerful men in history and ask them directly, what is the real secret behind your fortune? That is exactly what Napoleon Hill did for more than 20 years. He privately interviewed secret millionaires, men who never appeared in newspapers but mastered the art of creating wealth as if it were second nature. And what he discovered could change your life forever. Before I reveal these hidden secrets, I want to invite you to subscribe right now and activate the notification bell. Because here we share teachings you won't hear in any school or on television. Give this video a like so more people can wake up to this information, and check the links in the description where you'll find complimentary materials to accelerate your path to abundance. What you are about to hear is not theory. These are principles Napoleon Hill gathered directly from the most influential millionaires of his era. Some of them built empires from scratch, and the most surprising part is that they all shared a very similar mental pattern. They didn't credit luck, not even intelligence, but something far deeper, a way of thinking that turned every obstacle into opportunity and every desire into reality. And here's the fascinating part. Hill confessed that these secret millionaires weren't chasing fame or showing off their fortune. On the contrary, they lived quietly away from the public eye because they understood that real wealth wasn't just money, but the ability to design life exactly as they imagined it. Do you want to know the very first great truth Hill discovered while interviewing these hidden millionaires? Stay with me, because what you're about to hear can mark a turning point in how you attract abundance. Napoleon Hill found that every single one of these secret millionaires had one thing in common: a clear and definite vision of what they wanted. They were not people who vaguely wished to be rich. They knew exactly how much money they wanted, how they would get it, and most importantly, what purpose that wealth would serve in their lives. Hill called it a burning desire. And it wasn't just a whim, but an inner force so powerful it pushed them to act even when everything seemed against them. Their clarity was so vivid they could describe their goal as if it were already accomplished. They saw it, felt it, and lived it in their minds before holding it in their hands. Here's a detail few people know. Many of these millionaires spent more time imagining and writing down their goals than working directly on them, because they understood the mind is the true soil where wealth is planted. Action, of course, was important, but only after building an unshakable mental picture of what they desired. Do you see what this means? Most people wait for circumstances to change before they can prosper, while these millionaires changed their inner world first, and the outer world ended up reflecting that vision. That's why Hill insisted the first step toward abundance is not earning more money, nor finding the perfect opportunity. The first step is to define with absolute clarity what you want, write it down, visualize it daily, and feel it as if it were already real. That was the #1 mental pattern they all shared. Now, if that was the first big revelation, wait until you discover what comes next. Because Hill identified a second principle that may be even more powerful, one that explains why some people achieve the impossible while others remain trapped in doubt. The second great discovery Napoleon Hill made was something he called unshakable faith in the idea. Every secret millionaire he interviewed possessed a conviction so strong that even if the whole world told them they would fail, they moved forward as if they already knew the final outcome. This faith wasn't blind. It wasn't about waiting for miracles without effort. It was an active faith, an inner certainty that kept them steady through bankruptcies, rejections, and ridicule. Interestingly, most admitted that close people, family, friends, even partners, told them to quit. Yet they kept the vision alive inside, and that faith acted like a magnet, drawing resources, contacts, and opportunities their way. Hill discovered that faith is not something you simply have or don't have. It's a habit you cultivate. How? By repeating affirmations daily, visualizing success, and feeding the mind with thoughts of confidence instead of fear. Some even confess to having private rituals, reading motivational lines out loud every morning, or writing their goal over and over until it was burned into their subconscious. Over time, that repetition transformed doubt into absolute certainty. And here's the most powerful part, that faith not only moved their own minds but also influenced others. People who at first didn't believe in their projects eventually joined them because they could feel that energy of conviction. Hill realized that faith is the spark that turns a simple desire into an unstoppable force. Without it, any goal dies along the way. With it, even the impossible becomes inevitable. But what came next was even more fascinating, because Hill uncovered a third principle that proved no one reaches success alone, and that these secret millionaires used a nearly magical strategy to multiply their results. The third great principle Napoleon Hill discovered is what he called the mastermind. And this point is so powerful that, according to Hill, no great fortune in history was ever achieved without it. What does this mean exactly? Very simple. Secret millionaires knew that one mind, no matter how brilliant, was never enough. So they surrounded themselves with people who had different talents, skills, and perspectives, forming a circle of power where ideas multiplied. It was as if each meeting activated a higher intelligence, a collective energy capable of solving any problem and unlocking new opportunities. Hill noticed that these groups weren't random. They weren't social gatherings, but strategic meetings where every member contributed something specific: technical knowledge, financial discipline, creative vision, or valuable contacts. When those energies combined, an invisible force was created, pushing projects far beyond what any individual could achieve alone. And here's the surprising part. Many of these millionaires kept their mastermind members secret, because they knew that circle was the true source of their power. More than money, more than opportunities, it was alignment with other minds that gave them an unmatched advantage. Imagine how your life would change if you surrounded yourself with people who believe in your dreams, who inspire you, who push you forward, and who bring resources you don't have. That is exactly what the secret millionaires Hill interviewed did. And that's why their results seemed almost magical. And if you think this is powerful, wait until you hear about the fourth discovery. Because Hill realized that beyond mind and contacts, there was a principle that turned failure into the greatest ally of wealth. The fourth principle Napoleon Hill uncovered while interviewing secret millionaires was their relationship with failure. While most people see failure as an enemy, these men saw it as an essential teacher. Hill observed that all of them, absolutely all, had failed at some point. Some lost entire fortunes, others faced dozens of rejections, and some endured harsh criticism. But none of them stopped. Instead, they used every setback as valuable information to perfect their strategy. One millionaire told Hill, "If you take away my mistakes, you take away my millions." To them, failure was a filter, separating those with a burning desire from those who merely dreamed without commitment. Strangely enough, Hill noticed that many of them almost expected failures because they knew each fall brought them one step closer to their goal. It was as if they were certain that after every setback, life was preparing an even greater opportunity. And here's the important reflection. How often do we quit too soon, right before results show up? The difference between those who reach abundance and those who remain stuck is not luck, nor intelligence, nor even talent. It is the ability to persist when most give up. This principle changed the way Hill understood success, because according to him, failure doesn't actually exist. There are only results and lessons. And if you hold the right mindset, every apparent defeat becomes a stepping stone toward wealth. But the most striking discovery was still to come. Hill found that behind persistence, faith, and a clear vision, there was a fifth principle, the deepest one of all, that connects directly with the law of attraction and how our thoughts shape reality. The fifth principle Napoleon Hill uncovered among secret millionaires was perhaps the most mysterious, the power of the subconscious. They all agreed that the mind is a magnet capable of attracting opportunities, people, and circumstances aligned with our dominant thoughts and emotions. Hill noticed these millionaires didn't just work with external strategies. They cultivated a powerful inner dialogue. They repeated positive statements, visualized success every morning, and acted as if they had already reached their goals. It was constant mental programming that reshaped their deepest beliefs. What fascinated Hill was how carefully they guarded their minds. They avoided feeding on doubt, criticism, or negativity. They knew that every intense emotion, fear or enthusiasm, would be impressed upon the subconscious and later manifest in reality. That's why they were extremely selective about what they read, listened to, and especially about the people they surrounded themselves with. Here's the key insight. The subconscious doesn't distinguish between what's real and what's imagined. If you repeat an idea with enough emotion, your mind accepts it as fact, and then you begin to act and attract situations that confirm that belief. This explained why these millionaires achieved what seemed impossible. They had trained their minds to accept abundance as inevitable. Simply put, they didn't wait for wealth to arrive. They lived as if it were already theirs, and reality had no choice but to align with that conviction. But Hill didn't stop there. There was still a sixth discovery that shocked him, a mysterious energy that all the secret millionaires seemed to master, which could be considered the invisible fuel of their fortunes. The sixth principle Napoleon Hill discovered among secret millionaires was their ability to channel creative energy. According to Hill, this force is the most powerful within the human being, and those who learn to direct it can turn thoughts into tangible realities. The fascinating part is that these millionaires didn't see creativity as a rare talent reserved for a few. To them, it was a vital energy we all possess, but few know how to use. Most people waste it on worries, doubts, or distractions, while they focused it on visualizing solutions, imagining businesses, and projecting grand futures. Hill was struck to learn that many of them dedicated time to solitude and deep reflection. Some even spoke of bursts of inspiration when, almost effortlessly, million-dollar ideas appeared. And they all agreed on one thing: inspiration only came because they had trained their minds to stay focused on a clear desire and a definite purpose. In his private notes, Hill wrote that creative energy is like electricity. If you let it scatter, it is lost. But if you channel it, it can light up entire cities. Secret millionaires knew how to direct that current toward a specific goal. And that's why they always seemed to be in the right place, with the right idea, at the right time. And here's the big question: what would happen if you learned to focus all your mental, emotional, and spiritual energy on one single purpose, with the same intensity as these millionaires? Hill believed that then there would be no limits to what you could achieve, but there was still a seventh and final discovery, the deepest of them all, that Hill considered the true master key to open the door to unlimited abundance. The seventh and final principle Napoleon Hill discovered while interviewing secret millionaires was the power of higher purpose. They all agreed that real wealth was not just about accumulating money, but about using it as a vehicle for something greater. Hill noticed that those who sought money for money's sake often ended up exhausted or empty. But those who tied their wealth to a higher purpose, improving people's lives, creating something lasting, leaving a legacy, were the ones who built unimaginable fortunes and, more importantly, remained motivated throughout their lives. That purpose acted as an inner compass. It gave them clarity in moments of doubt, strength when everything seemed lost, and reminded them why it was worth persisting. In Hill's words, "The man who moves only for money will never go as far as the one who pursues an ideal that transcends his own life." Thus, secret millionaires understood a universal truth: money is a consequence, not an end. True abundance is born when we align our thoughts, emotions, and actions with a purpose that inspires us and brings value to the world. And that, perhaps, is the most powerful lesson Hill wanted to leave as his legacy. Anyone can attract wealth if they have a burning desire, unshakable faith, a mastermind, persistence, subconscious control, conscious use of creative energy, and above all, a higher purpose that gives meaning to it all. Now, if you want to keep diving deeper into the secrets of the law of attraction and uncover more hidden teachings from the great masters of success, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and check the links in the description for complimentary materials that can speed up your transformation. And don't go just yet, because the video that's appearing now on your screen is the perfect continuation of this topic and contains revelations you simply cannot miss. Click, and I'll see you there.